We are.
We're live. We're live.
How about
Apparently,
that?
there's a big basketball game going on today.
Oh, is there a sports ball happening?
Right now. I always hated sports ball. I That always felt so twee and millennial to me. I always hated that. That feels like early epic bacon internet, and I'm
Oh
not a
yeah, that's the
fan
same
of
era. Sure.
yeah le epic bacon. But yes, there's a sports event happening. Actually, Derek, I'll tell you my story connected to the Knicks because people in the Discord were asking about whether or not I was a Knicks fan. And so, once upon a time, Derek, I'll have you know, young Daniel
Da-
Bessner
Danny
was a
almost
Knicks
made it
fan.
to the Knicks. They tried to draft him, but coming
They
out of
did.
coming out of grad school,
I personally think it was anti-Semitism that kept me back, but I don't want
possibly.
to blame it. I don't want to get the Knicks investigated under Trump. But I was a Knicks fan as a youth, Derek. I'll have you know. Go New York, go New York, go. But when they lost to the Rockets, I
No, I
believe
mean
in
that's kind of given
1994.
in New York, right? I mean, it's not like there's
Yeah,
more
yeah.
than one.
Well, no, it
I
was
guess
only,
the
well. You could be the
Nets. Now
Nets.
there's
You
the
could do the
Nets,
Nets.
but back then they were in Jersey, so
Yeah, it
I
was the
don't
New
know if
Jersey
that would have made a
Nets.
difference.
DC, I remember Derek Coleman, I believe. But no, I was a fan of the Patrick Ewing,
I remember
John
Derek Coleman.
Starks. Yeah, Derek Coleman, Patrick Ewing, John Starks, Charles Oakley, Greg Anthony, Hubert Davis, Pat Riley, into Jeff Van Gundy. Well, Jeff Van Gundy a little later. But anyway, so when the Knicks lost to the Rockets in 1994, I was like bereft. I cried. And I remember literally, it's one of my vivid early memories. I guess I wasn't that young. I was like 8 or 9. But I went into my room and I was crying. And I'm like, I can't do this to myself for the rest of my life. Like, what am I doing?
Mm,
Why am I crying over this? And since then, I decided not to be invested in sports. But from what I can
I see.
tell, the Knicks are doing well. As you know, one of my good friends is Waz Lambry. And Waz, whenever something happens in sports, I have a group chat with Waz in it, and I'm like, so I hear the Knicks are doing well. Are we going to win? And
Yeah.
he gives me an update. He has apparently a very successful NBA podcast with a couple of former players, so I get my updates from Waz. But no, there is a sporting event happening right now, which may limit our view. But I don't know. Maybe there's not that much of a crossover between American prestige
The
and
overlap
sports
is
fans.
questionable.
Yeah, they
But
did
I
play some
think
ugly
the
basketball. They
Spurs
were
are
like mean.
favored, right? I mean the Spurs are probably going to win the series. I is my
The Spurs,
sense.
you mean home
Yeah.
of David Robinson, the Admiral?
Yeah.
My sports references end in
Tim Duncan, really. I
1995.
mean, yeah.
Air Canada. I remember Tim Duncan. That was in high
Tim
school
Duncan,
when
one of the
when I'm
best to ever do it.
yeah. Is he the best to ever do it? He's good,
One
right?
of, one of. Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
And there's the whole LeBron
Yeah. I mean,
James versus
depending on
Michael
what
Jordan thing.
position you put him at, like I've seen people say, like if you stick him at the four at power forward, a lot of people say he's the best ever. He played center as well. I don't think he merits
Was as good as
consideration as
center.
best center, but
Yeah.
I mean, he was good. He was still good. He's the same player basically, but there's a lot of great centers in NBA history, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily put him there.
It was interesting. I mean, just to relate it, I mean, this is probably dweeby, but just to relate it to things that I'm interested in. When I think about sports, it was, I remember was it a survey or there was an article? It must have been in the 90s that like everywhere around the world that people knew who the two Michaels were, Michael Jordan and Michael Jackson, the two MJs. And
Mm,
that to me is such an example of American 1990s cultural power. And I think it's weird having lived through that height of cultural power and now it's just not that moment anymore. But there was a moment where people from Indonesia to South Africa to Bolivia all knew who Michael Jordan was and who Michael Jackson was. I don't think that
sure.
level of global cultural hegemony will ever be achieved again in the history of humanity. Like that was just such an
Yeah,
insane moment.
I wonder like how many people know LeBron? Like how ubiquitous is LeBron in
Not like Michael
for around the
Jordan.
world? I
No
guess
way.
not. Yeah, I guess
You
not.
know, like, and it always reminds me of the story that Dave, like the cultural supremacy of the United States in the 1990s, which appears so natural to me because I was a child growing up then, is just really incredible. Like Dave Grohl tells a story that after Kurt Cobain killed himself, he was driving in like rural Ireland and he drove past a kid with like a Kurt Cobain shirt. It was just like America just so dominated the cultural sphere
Yeah.
in a way that I just don't, it's just never going to happen again. And that's what I always think about when I think of sports, just how culturally
Yeah,
supreme.
inevitable. I mean, it's part of the passing of the lone superpower moment, I guess. I mean, Steph Curry just signed a shoe deal with a Chinese company, so
That's really interesting. So there is going to be spread. Is basketball big in China? I know
oh
Yao
yeah.
Ming. Yao Ming
I
was a
mean, Yao
very
Ming
big. Do
was
you remember
huge,
him?
but I mean, they have a professional league. Yeah, I remember Yao Ming.
So shouldn't they be
He
able
was
to
an oddly
basically
shaped guy. Like he was very tall. He didn't have like super long arms though. It seemed like his arms were. Maybe I'm just misremembering. It just didn't seem like his arms were proportionate to the rest of his body.
that I don't know. But given just their sheer numbers, shouldn't China dominate in basically every sport? Is that going to be something that happens
I
going
mean,
forward?
yeah, I don't know. Like, what are the homegrown sports in China? I don't even know. Like, I mean, they're not going to dominate in
Pickleball.
gridiron football, obviously, or hockey. I mean, places where those things are cultural. Or
Well, someone mentioned in the chat Stefan Marbury. I was actually a fan of Stefan Marbury when he went to high school. He was in Lincoln High School. Somewhere in the detritus of my parents' house, there is a program from the high school Lincoln High School basketball championship sometime in the 1990s where Stefan Marbury tells me to stay in school. So I listened to him probably
nice.
too well
Okay.
and went through graduate school. Um,
Uh, I've never
but
had a rooting interest in an NBA team. Interestingly enough, I mean, I didn't grow. I grew up in Pittsburgh, so we didn't have a team.
people like the
And
76ers, is that who people would generally like there?
no, oh God, no, not a Philadelphia team. Jesus.
So
I don't
who
even
would you
know. I
like?
mean,
Ohio?
uh, I don't remember anybody caring. Like nobody in Pittsburgh cared about the NBA. I mean, I'm sure people did individually, but when you like tried to read anything in the newspaper or like listen to sports radio or
The
anything like that, there
Steelers,
was
right?
like
I
nothing.
imagine. Right.
Yeah, no, nobody cared. I mean, it was hockey season, so everybody talked about the Penguins.
Hockey was big
Um,
in Pittsburgh.
yeah,
Mario
hockey's
Lemieux,
huge.
Jaromir
Mario Lemieux.
Jagr, right? Those were the
Yeah.
two. I remember I played them in like the NHL 93 and 94. I would always play Pittsburgh. Derek, we were fated to do American Prestige together. I would,
Mm,
because that was one of the hockey players that I knew was Mario Lemieux. So it
there you
would be
go.
like him and Jagr, Jaromir Jagr, playing on NHL 93 or 94, memorialized, of course, in Swingers 1996
Yeah, I mean,
Classic.
geographically, the two closest teams, I guess, would be Philly and Cleveland, and everybody in Pittsburgh hates those two cities, so they're not going to
Why
root
is
for
there
the
such hate between
the Cavs
Philadelphia
or
and
the.
Pittsburgh?
I mean, different sides of the state.
So I
Philly
guess New
lords
York
it over everybody.
City kind of hates Albany, I guess. Well,
Yeah, I
Albany's not
mean,
even that
it's the
far.
same. I
Is
think
it
it's a similar thing, but New York doesn't have like what's New York's
Ithaca?
second city? It's really like,
London?
is it like Syracuse,
DC?
Rochester? Yeah.
Oh, New York State's second
Yeah,
city.
New York
It's got to
State.
be
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
got to
yeah.
be Syracuse, right? It's got to be
Yeah, I
Syracuse.
guess. And I don't know. I don't know what the dynamic is there, but it's definitely like a second city,
The
hates the
Orange Men.
big city.
Yeah, the Orange Men, I remember, were the Syracuse
Somebody asked if
team.
anybody still watches the Pirates. I don't. I gave up on them after the 20th straight losing season.
Oh,
Uh,
Justin is watching. Philly, my friend Justin, friend of the pod, Justin Boyd,
I
is watching.
oh, nice, nice. I still occasionally tune in to see Paul Skeens pitch because he's really good, but
You're a
it's not
Skeenhead.
not a not a
That was
not
a
a
good
Pirate
joke,
fan.
Derek. That was off the dome right there.
Yeah, there you go.
Introduce
I'm a
yourself as I'm
Skeen
the Skeenhead.
Breaking news here on American Prestige.
Well, Derek, I don't know if you. Well, we did 9 minutes on sports. See, we're getting good at this streaming
That's good. We
nonsense.
could keep
And we're
going. I can
doing
keep
that.
talking about sports.
Yeah, I had an
I'm happy to
interesting
do
thing
that.
to say when I was talking about China and sports, but I can't. Oh, this is interesting, actually. This is interesting. Uh, the NFL, and I think is going to be the first of several sports leagues, as I'm sure you know, these because capitalism obviously always needs to grow. So I'm sure you know the NFL is like signing deals in Europe because they're trying to get
Oh yeah.
Europe to enjoy football. So this is going to be
Yeah.
this is actually going to think
They
this
play
is
games. They play games in
they
Europe
do.
every
They play
year.
regular
Yeah.
season games in Europe. Maybe
Absolutely.
even they'll start to do play. Maybe they even do playoff games. But this to me is
And
actually
and Latin
fascinating.
America. They've played in Mexico
Yes,
City, and yeah.
yes, that is
Well,
going to be
I think
interesting. Go.
eventually there's going to be a team in Mexico City, I would think. I mean, logistics.
You think
Europe's
there's going to
harder
be a
because of
team?
the flight. I think they would like to expand the NFL geographically outside of the United States.
Clearly.
They would have a hard time doing that in Canada because of the Canadian Football League. So at least Mexico is the obvious choice. And Europe is like it's fun as a special attraction, but I don't know if you could base a team there. I guess it's not that much longer than flying coast to coast, but it would still
Well, you'd
be
have to
like you
do
just
like
have
you,
a single team in Europe and force that team to fly across the Atlantic 8 times or 9 times a year, whatever it would be is
you'd have
pretty
to mess with
ridiculous.
the schedules. They'd have to play like 8 games in London, which is it'd probably have to be in London, and then 8 games in the States. And it would just have to be a thing where they don't do like
Yeah,
alternative
yeah,
things. You'd have to do
right,
otherwise it'd be unfair.
right.
You can't be taking 11-hour
Right,
flights
but
to
that I mean,
LA.
that's still unfair to the team that, if that is gonna have to be on the road for 8 straight weeks. I mean, that's crazy living at
Yeah,
hotels.
but then they're at home for
Uh,
8 weeks. So there you go.
yeah,
You
I
know,
know
this is
which outweighs the other, I guess.
so this is, I think, going to be. We should do an episode on this because that to me is really fascinating because these teams have to, these leagues have to grow,
Right.
and so they're going to have to go international. I think the NBA clearly. I mean, so many European countries are already like into basketball. The NFL. So it'll be interesting in the coming years how that relates to international relations and these leagues expanding internationally. That's pretty fascinating. And you start getting money, international money coming in, and even more international players. Um, because soccer just never really took off here. Even though in Seattle we are kind of a soccer city, but that is when I discovered that the NFL is really trying to make a push into Europe. I found that really interesting. That is very
It's
fascinating
big. I
to me.
mean, they do numbers every time they play a game over there. They sell out
Yeah,
stadiums, and
there must be
people
a
are
lot
into that.
of
And
NFL
they're
NFL
often not
fans.
even like good games. Like they don't uh, get good matchups, but people are still into it.
Yeah,
To the person
so that'll be
who
interesting.
shouted out PNC Park in the comments, I agree. It's the best stadium in Major League Baseball. It's just the team that plays there sucks.
Is it what's the team that plays there?
The Pirates.
Oh, you don't. You're right. You don't like baseball. Who was a big pirate?
I do like baseball. I love baseball. It was my first professional sport I really loved, and the Pirates sucked it out of me.
I went to the Mariners game this past weekend. It was pretty fun. I love that they instituted that pitch clock, man. Like that was a
Yeah, that seems to really
innovation.
help. It really speeds up, makes the pacing much better than it was like
Yeah,
just getting to be unbearable to watch on TV. That I mean, that's the big thing is how does it look on TV? I mean, it's that's what everybody's shooting for because like the gate draw is fine, but everybody wants to be on TV and do get better national TV contracts or local TV contracts. And the NFL is like made for TV. I mean, that game
right.
is perfect for television, which is part of the reason why it
A lot
sells
of
so well.
stops
But
and starts. Yeah,
baseball,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, baseball was getting so slow. It was just like not working.
No, it was. I remember reading. It's like it's very much like a progressive era sport. Like it allows you to like hang out all day and sort
Yeah.
of like take it all in, and you don't have to go anywhere. It's like I remember reading it's like a sport that was designed at like just the beginning of modernity, where like you could quickly get to a stadium, but like the pace of life is
Hmm.
still relatively slow, so that you could take in the game for 4.5 hours. I think every team should have a bat that explodes once a season, and that the bat should explode, and that you never know if it's going to explode. And then once
Interesting.
a season
Yeah.
it happens,
Death sport.
and that
Yeah.
that would be, that would be
Um,
not death, just serious injury.
I mean, yeah. Do I have a take on the automated balls and strikes challenge system? Yes, I think they should just do automated balls and strikes. They
Right?
should get
Why
rid
do
of
you
human
need a
umpires.
so Derek? You're pro AI, is what you're saying.
I
Derek's
am.
coming out on the
Yeah. In
podcast
this
as
in this
extremely pro
one
AI,
case,
putting referees out of
as
work.
having seen enough shitty umpiring in my life, I'm pro AI in this one instance.
The umpires must have a union, right? Oh,
Yeah, they do.
best baseball movie, best summer
Oh,
catch. Justin asked, so I got it. He paid his $2. So we've got oh my god, FYI
oh,
is
we're
best.
getting
Interesting. I didn't
okay. We're
know that.
getting more of these.
We need a
Uh,
few more. I think we need, what is it? We need $10 to set up the bank account. So
yeah.
we've
So
gotten four.
best baseball movie is like.
Major League.
Depends on what I'm in the mood for. Major League for sure.
I think Major League's the
Um,
funniest, right? I was just joking
Field
about Willie
Field of
Mays Hayes
Dreams.
the
If
other
you're
day.
in like one of those wistful kind of like,
Jamalti,
I want to
if you're
watch a
if you're feeling
drama.
boomer, you and your
Field of
fellow
Dreams
silent
is hard to
generation.
beat. Yeah, exactly.
So Field of I think Major League,
Bull
Angels in the
Durham. Somebody
outfield.
mentioned Bull Durham. That's another one, another great one. The Natural, also in that
That was my
Field of Dreams,
grandfather's
like
favorite movie,
boomer, silent
The Natural.
generation kind of movie.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
baseball movie has really disappeared. I mean, Rookie of the Year, classic. Kid injures himself, becomes just as good at sports. Do you remember that one, Derek? You see the theaters
I don't
14
remember that one.
times.
Yeah.
No, it's a Henry Rowan Gardner.
I think I
Remember that it
saw
was
Angels in the
funky,
Outfield as a kid, but I don't remember any of it. I think I
right? Some
liked
light
that.
homophobia. Some kid was like, did he say funky butt lovin'? Do you remember this? And I get it because I was too young. A League of Their
Oh,
Own, classic
Aim
Madonna.
Men
Amen
Out.
out.
Aim Men Out is
That's
another
probably
really
my
good one.
favorite. That's an excellent movie.
That's harder
That's a,
to that's a harder watch though. You got to commit to 8 Men Out as opposed to just like letting it watch. It's as much a courtroom movie as
Amen out is
like a
awesome. I just one of my
legal drama. It's a baseball movie.
I think it's so good. One of
Moneyball,
my
another
friends.
one, like kind of. I mean,
It's
it's
kind of a
almost
baseball
less
movie.
about baseball than about business. I mean, I find that whole thing just so like self-satisfying. And oh, nice. There you go.
Oh, thank you,
Thanks,
Bugs.
Bug
Oh,
Pay.
Producer Jake, set up the bank account.
Yeah, set
Um,
up the account. Let's go, man.
what was Mr. Baseball? Do you remember Mr. Baseball?
I do remember
There's
Mr.
one of
Baseball.
the
What
most
about Brewster's
racist.
Millions? That could be considered a baseball movie.
That's too old. Do you remember like Mr. Baseball had such a racist scene where he goes to the
I don't
bathroom?
remember that.
So
No.
Tom Selleck goes to the bathroom and all the. So the story is that Tom Selleck is basically a washed MLB player who goes to play
Right.
in Japan, right? And so he goes to. It's so racist. He goes to he goes to the bathroom, and all his fellow players are just in awe of his American manhood. Very symbolic of early post Cold War American domination. I think at that moment is when the American
Nice.
fear of Japan went away, because the 80s is
Yeah.
all about fears of American, which is, by the way, why Trump has any opinion about China.
Yeah.
But that's something that totally disappears in the 1990s, and I think Mr. Baseball was was key to this very important. Wow, Derek, we
Remember the
did
movie? What
18
was the
minutes
one
on
with?
this.
Now, this isn't baseball, but was it Rising Sun? The one with Wesley Snipes and Sean Connery?
I don't remember that. It
Uh,
was about baseball.
no. It's not a baseball movie. It's a Japan. It's a fear of Japan. It's a
Oh, it's a fear
Japan
of Japan. I mean, the classic
movie.
is
Yeah.
Back to the Future too, right? Where the Japanese businessman fires Marty, and obviously Die Hard. Those are the two ones that I always think of as indicating these fears of Japan.
Yeah, Rising Sun. It was a
Um,
Michael Crichton book, and they made it into a movie with Sean Connery and Wesley Snipes. It's about a murder at a Japanese company office in Los Angeles, and
what year?
he's just steeped with it's the movie was 93, so the book must have come out not that long before
Oh
that, I guess.
no, they should add. I should answer this. Yes, people were critical of my. I'm only answering it because I got a super chat, Derek. I am a slave to the almighty dollar.
Nice.
Yeah, so I invited Anusar on. I've been talking to him for a long time. I wrote this piece for the Ideas Letter, and he wrote a couple of mean tweets about it. He referred to it as quote, quote, ignore shit. I to be honest, I didn't love that. I didn't take too kindly to that. So I invited Anusar on to chat about it. And so that's the context. But we are friends. I think we came to an understanding. But I came in ready to go because I thought he was very dismissive of a piece I spent a very long time on, and I, to be honest, did not appreciate that. So that's some background context for anyone who is familiar why I came out swinging on that bad boy. I probably should have provided that context, but I wasn't sure if it was appropriate. But Anusar is a good guy. I recommend his Substack. He's a very sharp knife, which is a phrase that he oftentimes uses. And I just disagree with him about this almost technical issue on Iran being a great power. But Derek, I did have a question. What do you think the
Yeah.
decline of the baseball movie says about the United States because we just named a million baseball movies. I mean, you could go back further. Bad News Bears from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And I mean, you have Summer Catch, you have Everybody Wants Some. Everybody wants some more biographical. It's about baseball, but more biographical. I think there's been a noticeable uh, decrease in
Well,
baseball
let's see. This
movies, and
is
I'm curious why you think.
Googleable.
I
This
mean,
is
oh, you could
Googleable. Like what
you could ask
listed
what's the
baseball
recent
films?
baseball movies.
Yeah. So let's see. Yeah, it's kind of
Football did
slowed
take the throne.
down. There
I
was
wonder why.
EFUS that was in
Oh yes,
2024.
right. EFIS,
Um,
and which Chapo was involved with. I believe Chapo helped produce that, if
yeah, I
I'm
think they
remembering
did. Yeah,
correctly.
yeah.
Yeah, with their Cold Feet banner. Good for them. That's awesome.
And of
That
course,
movie. I
I
haven't
mean,
seen it, but
Eastbound and Down is a
no, that's so
baseball
good.
show. I mean, it's not,
Yeah,
it's not a movie, but still in there.
that's
But it
such a
is
good,
interesting.
so
Like,
good.
I don't know when the last movie was that was about like Major League Baseball, because like Eastbound and Down is about another washed up guy. Like that's a common baseball thing, but it seems to be more and more like the baseball movies are really about like rowdy minor leaguers or guys playing in the Mexican league to try and hang on or like whatever. Like I don't know
Well,
what
I think
the
baseball.
last
I
movie
think
was just about.
that's
It might have been that Kevin Costner movie, which was
what was
many
that?
years ago.
Field of Dreams.
No, the one where he played the pitcher. I can't remember the name of it. The pitcher was like in his last game,
Oh, and there was the John Hamm
and
one where he recruits
through
an
the
Indian
perfect
guy.
game. Yeah, there's
Remember,
that.
there's John Hamm, but I think baseball oftentimes doubles as a midlife crisis movie because you could be a baseball
For
athlete
Love of the
much
Game, that's the cause.
longer.
That's the movie I was thinking of. And
Yeah.
then Moneyball, I guess. I mean, that was about MLB, but again, I have a hard time thinking of that as a baseball movie because the main character is the general manager.
Remember Ed with Matt LeBlanc, where the monkey was on the team? We need to bring back more
Yeah,
animals playing
yeah.
professional sports.
Monkey president or monkey quarterback, something like that.
Dunston checks in. Remember that with
Yeah, there you
Jason
go.
Alexander, where the monkey
There you
checks
go.
into the hotel.
I mean, there's a lot of the cheap laugh animal, like cheap to make animal movies. Like, I think people are just going to make AI slop instead.
Oh yeah, but I mean,
Because
so many of
that's
the.
like,
Ugh.
how can I churn out some schlock quickly? And the easiest way to do that is AI now, I think.
Yeah, I mean, well, certainly. It'll be interesting because I am on record as I think, ironically, given how much attention it's been getting, I don't think AI is going to have its greatest effect in Hollywood. I think it's going to basically be like in some parts of post, where you're going to see, I mean, which already effectively, like artificial intelligence, whatever you might call it, is going to be incorporated into like various technical aspects. But I don't think it's going to replace acting. I don't think you're just going to have like Clark
Yeah,
Gable starring in
right.
Major League Four. I just think all that is semi nonsense. Um, but yeah,
No,
I
but
guess we'll
you could.
see.
I mean, people can churn out bad schlock
Yeah, I
pretty
mean, they
easily,
already
right?
do
So
turn
they'll do
out.
that.
Yeah, turn out bad schlock. Well, Derek, we've done 24 minutes on
That's good.
sports. How
Yeah.
long do you think we can keep? How long
Well,
do you think this is going? I've sort
the
of
last half of
exhausted.
this has been movies really more than sports, but yes.
What do you mean?
Uh,
Jason Miles did a bit about my pickup game. I used to play street ball in New York. Nah, it's just not really. I was more into to baseball. I was actually pretty good at baseball when I was a youth. Know what we should do actually, which is very fascinating to me, is the rise of youth sports. We were talking a bit off mic with friend of the pod, Patrick Wyman, about this, about the rise of youth sports and how it's basically been a way to launder money for parents who want their children to be Division 1 athletes, and so it's like a
yeah.
$40 billion industry, or
Crazy.
something along those lines. I find that also really interesting about how sort of this rat race in college and education has now made like youth sports this insufferable hyper capitalist thing. That's really really interesting
And
to
you're
me.
like, I mean, you're ruining these kids. I mean, you're breaking their
It's
bodies
horrible,
down. Like the ones who don't make it
which
are
is
just,
ninety nine point
like
nine 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 nine
right,
percent of
right.
them. Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
potentially lifetime, lifelong chronic injuries.
Yeah. You don't think it's worth it to maybe get into a Division 4 school? Uh, we'll also see what happens
I mean,
with.
this was something people were even talking about. I remember the start of this was people talking about many years ago, talking about how the decline of kids who did multiple sports in high school, and everybody had to mono focus on whatever their sport was because had become a year round thing. And one of the arguments back then was like, if kids are playing basketball one season and football one season and baseball, like it gives you a break. Like it gives, it lets you stay athletic without, overworking the muscles and the parts of your body that you use for any one of those. It's just healthier. But yeah, I mean, like feels like it was the start of just people getting insane about this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, again, yet another. Um, to me, it's a function of the increasing oligarchization of society, where everyone is trying to distinguish themselves to the minutest extent in order to become part of the winner's circle. And so it's affected everything and youth sports. And once again, the eternal science of historical materialism is proven correct. But you see that sort of oligarchization everywhere, and it's going to be in youth sports as well. And it's not an especial surprise. I mean, and I mean, I think you're going to see the increasing branching out at elite schools. They'll have like, pickleball will serve a similar function to what lacrosse is serving as, which is like a way for like hyper elite kids to get an athletic scholarship with a sport that is really no one that barely exists outside of college. I wouldn't be
Right.
surprised if something like that begins to happen. Um, Generally speaking, have you seen the rise of, or have you seen professional tag, Derek? Have you watched these?
No,
Do you
professional
see watch?
tag?
Yeah, it's actually
Oh
kind of
my
cool.
god.
There's basically like a playground type situation, and these like guys are it's like parkour essentially. They're like parkouring around these bars, and people are trying to tag them. And so it's pretty cool. Everyone should go watch professional tag. If this was the mid 2000s, one could make a comedy about that, like they did with dodgeball, because this is actually a real thing, and it's kind of cool and pretty interesting. But I recommend that people watch professional.
That's very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Uh, so I think I'm coming to the limits of my ability to talk about sports, which
Okay.
I am impressed with us though. We've gotten almost 30 minutes
Yeah.
about sports, which is really I'm impressed with us. I guess we're going to talk about the Iran situation tomorrow on news, so I don't feel the
Yeah.
need to really talk about that now. Anyone have any
There
suggestions in
was
the
there was
chat?
the House vote. I mean, if you want to talk about the House
Oh
vote, because
yeah, the
I
House
don't
vote.
give a shit about
I
that, so I don't know if we'll talk
yeah,
about it
I
tomorrow.
kind of like talking about fun stuff, but I don't want to
Well, I mean,
review TV shows.
yeah. No, I mean, does it matter? It's not going to pass the Senate, and it's a concurrent resolution, so it's not even binding. Like, I mean, I guess three cheers for the House. I think it is an indication that Trump is like starting to run out of
Rizless.
leash.
Know what I was thinking
Yeah,
would be
Rizzlers.
funny?
I mean, these guys, at least, I mean, Massey was a given that he would vote
Yeah.
in favor of war powers, but I think some of these guys are maybe seeing what he's doing to like Cornyn and some other people, and like it's starting to wear thin. I don't know,
I
especially
was
with
joking
as unpopular as the war is.
I was joking with my friend that Trump's going to run for a third term and lose. Like that's a nice place for American fascism to end. He
I
runs for
mean,
the third term, and then I mean that's perfect. That would just
he
be such a
surely
nice.
would. I mean, he would absolutely
Oh
lose.
yeah,
Which I
and
mean,
I mean the
if
reason
they
that he's
allowed it to be
yeah
done legitimately.
Americans, as George Patton said in his so George Patton in advance of D-Day went around giving a speech, and like one of the I think if I'm remembering, it's definitely in there. I think it was one of the first lines. It's like Americans don't like a loser, and that's true.
Yeah.
Like say what you will about this country, Americans do not like a loser, which is ironic because when was the last time we won a war?
I mean,
Gulf War,
I'm convinced
probably.
that that's a, a healthy part of the reason why they don't like Democrats. Doesn't have anything to do with his
Right.
policy,
They
doesn't
feel
have
like
anything to
losers.
do with
Yeah.
anything substantive. The party just puts out this loser vibe all the time, and it
Yeah.
turns people off. And the singular Democrats who managed to break through that and not put out a loser vibe, like Obama, are successful. But then the party as a whole just isn't. Even at a time when the opposing party is hugely unpopular and the president is unpopular, they're still not like picking up anything. I guess the exception is Biden because Biden is just a loser in general. I mean, he just put out a real loser vibe. Uh, but that was just a special circumstance with two losers running against each other in the middle of a pandemic that the one loser made worse. So I mean, I think you got to chalk it up to that. But even that election, like that 2020 election, was so much closer than it should have been. And I think part of the reason is because it's the Democrats. Nobody likes them. Nobody likes Biden.
Do you have any thoughts about Graham Plattner? I mean, like, to be honest, I find horse race politics to be fundamentally so boring.
Yeah.
What do you think? Maybe this is like, what do you think is so fascinating to people about horse race politics? Because it's literally just prognostication. There's
Because
like,
it's
you could
sports.
barely do
It's the same
analysis.
thing, it's
Oh, it's
competition.
so
It's something
boring.
to watch and like you can turn on your TV shows and everybody's talking about who's going to win, who's going to lose, and that's stuff that people understand. And when there's nothing substantive is going to happen as a result of the election, this is all you have. This is, you're not talking about who's going to make my life better. None of them are. So, I mean, this is
Ugh.
the thing that
I
gets
just
people
find it
interested.
so boring to listen to and so boring to read. And this is so much of what modern media is about. It is just makes me want to, whatever. I don't want to get
I
banned.
mean,
Makes me want to
Platter
not be happy. Any thoughts
Platter
about
to
Plattner,
me
though?
is not a good candidate. I mean, he's got a lot of things that you would say, make him a weak candidate. And I'm not saying he's not going to beat Susan Collins, or that it wouldn't be preferable for him to beat Susan Collins and prevent Trump from nominating an 18-year-old to serve on the Supreme Court or whatever. But he's not an ideal candidate by any stretch, and I don't have strong thoughts about any of the stuff that he's been uh, either accused of doing or has admitted to doing, and the stuff beyond that he's been accused of doing. Like, uh, again, to me, like I don't. I'm with you. Like the horse race stuff, I don't get wrapped up in, and it's a Senate race in Maine. I don't live in Maine. Like, there's nothing that like particularly moves me about this. What I do question is the party apparatus deciding that this guy's an outsider. We don't know anything about him. We don't want to like risk turning, our chances winning the Senate seat over to this unknown dude. So let's nominate the 73-year-old governor of the state. Is it 73? Is that how old she is? uh like in this environment where people don't like incumbents and they don't like the gerontocracy, what are you doing? Like, how is that the best person you can find to take that on? And it comes back to like, the stupid calculation that, well, she's won statewide, so uh obviously she can do it.
Yeah.
Like, it just, there's no ability to read a room, and I don't get it. Like, that's the thing that's baffling to me.
Yeah. Who
And
is running
yes,
the
the people
party?
in
Yeah.
comments are talking about some of the other things that
But
he's
Derek, we'd only
been like.
respond to super
He
chats.
worked in
Uh,
Blackwater. He was
ah!
professionally, fighting in Iraq. All of that stuff to me is, yes, it's
Yeah.
disqualifying, but nobody cares about that. They care about the tattoo, and they care about the
Right,
infidelity.
right. But
So
the
I'm
culture
just
war, the
just
culture war
just
stuff.
commenting on that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Derek, that's the last time we're ever going to respond to a not super
Okay.
chat.
All right. Fair enough.
If
Fair
you
enough.
want our time, you got to pay for it. No, I think
But I
that's
think,
right.
yeah,
And I
they're
mean,
right though. I
yeah,
mean, they're right. There's
yeah,
all
yeah.
these other red flags that like don't get talked about because they're red flags in the way that like our media doesn't give a shit about. Like,
Right.
he, went overseas and killed Arabs. Okay, well, we don't really care about that.
Yeah, and again, this raises larger questions about the Democratic Party and where it is, and what are the power bases in the party, which I mean, it's quite opaque to me right now. I have a much better sense of the Republican Party, which I think is going to really fall apart once Trump leaves the scene. But the Democratic Party, I have no idea where that's going, because obviously the party apparatus still has power. They were able to defeat Bernie many times, and they're putting up Grissom Newsom and Buttigieg and whoever it's going to be. So it's very difficult to know. But yeah, I mean, interesting times, to say the least. But Derek, I think we should let people get back to their sports. Guys, we really planned on having a
Full sports
guest
ball.
this week, but there's been production snafus. Derek knows what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
basically, I mean, the upshot is we can't do guests until we have a somebody who can be on to produce the show as the live stream as we're doing it, and
Yeah,
that's not
Jake
going to be the
doesn't
case
trust
for a
us.
couple of weeks yet.
Yeah, so we'll
No, I mean,
we'll
literally,
figure it out.
technically, like we can't figure out how to do it. So yeah, we do have somebody, but he's not going to be available for a couple of weeks. So
Yeah,
we'll just start
we'll
doing
just
that when we can.
keep the gift of gab, bants and rants. But we have a great episode coming up this weekend with Dylan Riley. Really interesting stuff. So look forward to that. We've got news coming up, and yeah, I mean, just love hearing from all of you. I'm sure most of you here on the Discord. We just really appreciate everyone listening, and we really appreciate your thoughts. And if you do not like something, that's totally okay. You could let us know whether we agree or not, TBD. But thanks everyone for listening. We've got some awesome merch coming, and we'll see you all soon.
Thanks,
Bye.
everybody. Bye.